The bond between twins is very special and can sometimes save lives. The doctor said these twins would not survive, but when the duo could spend time together, this happened. Laura Hug and her husband Chris Carey are a young couple living in Walton, Liverpool. Unsurprisingly, this couple were eager to welcome their children into the world and couldn't wait to hold their children. The lovers had no fertility problems, and the test results soon confirmed that they would be parents. The next important moment of pregnancy is knowing the sex of the baby, and the first ultrasound gave more good news. The doctors told them they were going to have twins. Isn't that amazing? However, during their gestation weeks, they received another important news. Unfortunately, this time it wasn't a nice one. At the hospital, they told Laura that her children were in separate amniotic bags, but that the placenta of one of her twins was deteriorating. The baby had reversed blood flow and his placenta was not getting the nutrients it needed. The placenta provides oxygen and nutrients to the baby and removes waste products from your blood. The doctors told her that the child with the bad placenta would not survive the pregnancy if they did not act soon. She was told that her twins would have to be born earlier to save the developing baby's life. Doctors told her the babies would be born in the 28th week. During this period, the woman had to visit the hospital twice a week as the medical staff had to monitor the twins' blood flow. Laura said, "For a good number of weeks, as I carried him in my arms, I was told he would not survive." Although she hoped her children would survive, the young woman was also preparing for the worst. Would her twins survive, or would the doctor's prophecy be fulfilled? Instead of giving birth at 28 weeks, there was a slight change of plans. As she remained stable, they took her until the 30th week. In March 2021, after 7 months of pregnancy, she was taken to Liverpool Women's Hospital for an emergency C-section. The twins were born without complications. Lewis was born at 14:12, while his sister Neve was born 2 minutes later. The boy weighs 1.4 kilograms and his sister weighs 0.45 kilograms. Neve is the girl who had a bad placenta, but here comes the unexpected turn of events. When her doctor told her that one of her twins was not getting enough nutrients, everyone expected that baby to be the one with respiratory problems, but Neve didn't have any. The doctors were surprised by the girl's strength. Some members of the medical team stated that this baby is the first who does not need oxygen despite her health problems and her size. For a girl who wasn't expected to survive, isn't that amazing? The mother said when she came out, she didn't need oxygen. She was fine. It was Lewis. His 2 lungs collapsed, so he was treated to drain the air from his lungs. Lewis was the one who needed treatment. Pulmonary collapse is also known as pneumothorax, occurs when there is an accumulation of air in the space between the lung and the chest wall. As more air accumulates in this space, the pressure makes it collapse. Lewis's lungs could not fully expand. The baby's health problems forced the medical team to separate the twins. Laura was looking forward to having her children in her arms, but she had to wait as both were taken to treatment. It was not until 14 days later that the newborns reunited. A few nights ago, one of the other babies was transferred to another unit, so they lowered Neve down and put them both in the same incubator at the same time, her mother said. In the same incubator, something extraordinary happened that showed how much they missed each other. Laura said they ended up with arms over each other, legs crossed, and holding hands. She tried to put her hands around his neck. It was fun to see them. Neve tried to hug Lewis. I'm sure, well, it was Neve's way of saying, "Where have you been? I've missed you." Being away from each other for 14 days must have been tough. Undoubtedly, they had overcome their various health problems until this extraordinary moment. It was the best day of my life. I feel very good to go from fearing that Neve did not survive to seeing the 2 of them hugged. There are no words. When they were born, it was a huge relief. I couldn't have been happier, says Laura. The daughter of this couple defied the doctor's expectation, but Neve is not only a fighter, but also a charmer. Her mother says, "She has cleansed our eyes, to be honest. All the doctors who came to see her are fond of her. They say they will miss her when she leaves. They have never seen a baby like her, so small without needing oxygen. She does everything alone." Well done, Neve. The girl may be smaller than a doll, but that has not limited her at all. Doctors have stated that the children should be discharged in May, which was the date originally scheduled for Laura's birth. The new mother claims that her house is painted and prepared for new members of her family. She said, "I can't wait to bring them home. I still find it surreal to say that I am the mother of twins, but I am, and it is incredible." The story of Laura and her twins began with the fear of losing their son, but could not end better. Lake and Luke Jason were feared losing their child, but a hug saved the baby. Luke and Lake had been trying for a couple of months when she began to experience pregnancy symptoms, and after her tests, the couple received the good news. Lake, who collects stem cells in a laboratory, said, "We had only been trying a little to have a baby when I found out I was pregnant, but I started bleeding at 6 weeks and they took me to the hospital." The British couple were worried about something going wrong. Instead, they were told that instead of one child, they would have 2. She said, "It was a big surprise as I didn't expect it, but both Luke and I were delighted to expect 2 babies. The pregnancy was pretty quiet, no problems to worry about, but that was until she broke water at 27 weeks. Their twins arrived 13 weeks earlier than expected. Would they survive or die? These were the questions that were playing in her mind. "I panicked a lot. Luke took me to the hospital and a scan confirmed that I was in labor and I needed an emergency C-section to deliver the babies. I was devastated," says Lake. Abba weighed 0.91 kilograms and her brother Austin weighed 1.4 kilograms when they were born, but none was breathing. They had to receive emergency treatment to save their lives. After resuscitation, they were separated and placed in different incubators. Their parents could not see them until several hours later. The mother said, "When I finally saw them 11 hours later, they were on separate sides of the room. Their skin looked transparent and they were covered with tubes. I knew they should have been inside me, growing. All I could think about was how they could possibly survive." Have you ever heard of the saving embrace? If you have, believe in it, and if you have not, here is an incident that explains it. Several weeks after birth, Abba and Austin showed slight improvement, but they were still weak. So their mother made a unique decision. She asked doctors to put her twins in the same incubator. You might think, what difference would that make? And that's what I thought too, but it worked like magic. They looked at each other and then they wrapped their arms around each other and hugged. Incredible, right? From that moment on, their oxygen levels skyrocketed and their condition improved. There is no scientific explanation for the continuing change in their health, but many parents of twins believe in what is now known as the saving embrace. It's like how a premature baby's heart rate and breathing can improve with prolonged skin-to-skin contact with their parents. Many believe that physical contact between them can do wonders that medical experts do not yet understand. Abba and Austin benefited from that and were discharged from the hospital weeks later. Do you believe in the saving embrace, and do you have a story about it? Share it with me in the comments. I hope to see you next time.